Welcome to Hiring Happy Humans, where we talk about all things HR with a variety of folks, from CEOs to community partners, sharing up-to-date trends, best practices, and our wild workplace stories. Each interview is designed to leave you with the knowledge to keep your sanity. I'm your host, Dawn Sipley, of Sipley the Best. Thanks for joining in, and let's jump into this week's episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Hiring Happy Humans. I am here today with Joe Pici with Pici and Pici. I'm just so excited to have Joe on today. We have known each other for a number of years as fellow Christian Chamber members and leaders in our community. I have watched Joe take the stage a number of times. His straightforward way of communication just always makes me want to cheer in the back of the room. So welcome, Joe. Thank you so much for joining us.
Cheer or cry, right?
Well, whatever motivates you, right? Sometimes we need to.
Well, thanks for having me on.
I think suffering is underrated in our society these days. A little suffering can make a lot of good.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about Pici and Pici, Joe. You've been on this roller coaster for quite some time now.
Well, Dawn and I have been together 51 years, but we've been in business for over 30 years.
Wow.
And so as our business has evolved, it's gotten more and more vertical. Mm-hmm. We work with anything from a solopreneur right up to companies like the National Football League, TSA, Homeland Security, Wells Fargo. So we can really work with any company because what we do is niche, but who we do it for is vast.
So tell me about what you do exactly.
Our number one vertical is attracting and retaining clients. We're very specific on our sales strategy. Okay, the uniqueness about what we do is 80% of what we do is skill-based. So as you know, one of the things we do is live outbound telephone call training, no role play. And, in the 21st century, skills have gone down, as you know. Okay, accountability has gone down. And the fastest way to change a structure, a sales structure, is to do the bottom up. So we work from the bottom up, work with the foot soldiers, get them selling, get them bringing in business, and then management wants to sit down with us for us to go through their complete strategy, the specifics of, right now I'm writing sales and collections manuals for huge franchise systems.
Wow.
But that's just a little piece of what we do. Okay.
So it's funny as a headhunter, as a recruiter, someone who's been in the job market for so long, when I often ask folks, like, what is it that you want to be when you grow up? What kind of job are you looking for? What do you want to do? Oftentimes I get the answer, anything but sales.
Right.
What is that about? Like, it must be just the world's greatest fear of doing sales calls.
First of all, it has a stigma, just like anything else. All right. Mm-hmm. And one of the problems with sales is people have tried it, but weren't equipped. Oh. So maybe they had charisma and talent and people liked them.
Right.
And when they got through their initial surge, it wasn't falling into their lap.
Right.
Also, people think sales is being a peddler. Well, there's two different kinds of sales. There's transactional, get to yes or no as fast as possible. And then there's consultative sales, which is rapport building.
Yes.
Because as you know, 85% of sales happens between the 6th and the 15th contact. But for any company, and I know this is for businesses.
Right.
Somebody has to sell something to somebody to make money. Right.
Amen. I always say that. That's one of my key things. Ain't nobody got a job till somebody sells something.
And so I think when people are equipped and they master it, they realize selling is more about finding buyers.
Right. Do you think that small business owners don't understand who their buyer is? Because I've noticed that they're pretty willing to sell something to anybody.
Yeah, well, yes. Yes.
Okay.
I think business owners, back to the book E-Myth, they were a good plumber, they opened up a plumbing company. They were a good this, they open up a company, which is great. And they spend all their money on marketing, new website, tools, whatever. And they don't leave any money in to learn how to sell. So by that time, they're running out of money. All right. This is where Joe shows up, and you get the dull stare of, well, you know, I really would like to work with you, but I don't have any money. If I can say anything to a business owner, no matter where you are right now, and you don't have to work with Pici, but I would recommend this: gain mastery and strategies for selling. That's the only thing that creates cash flow that allows you to build out your business.
Do you think, let me rephrase it this way. Who do you think is the best person to sell for a small business owner? Is it the small business owner themselves, or should they hire that kind of talent out?
I love your questions, because your questions are things I deal with every day. All right. I think when a person opens up a company, they should master and create a sales strategy. So if then they bring people on, they have a methodology. And one of the mistakes people make is they meet somebody at a chamber, they meet somebody, and this person is outgoing and exuberant and all those things. And they go, I'm going to hire you. And then they let them do whatever they want. The single most important way to understand brand development is through your sales approach.
Oh, interesting. I've never heard anybody say that before. Tell me more.
Well, think about this. Who are the first people to touch your clients? Your salespeople. You want to destroy a brand? Let your salespeople go out and sell their way. Repeat after me. And then you put your company in. We do things this way.
Right.
So many people allow salespeople to wing it, to write their own scripts, to sell their own way. And they wonder why the community doesn't respect them. Right. You know, Dawn and I have grown a brand. Yeah, now we do marketing. Now we do this. But we literally took our business from nothing to rank #1 in the world. And it did because we sell first, we build a reputation first, and everything follows.
Yeah, that's exactly was my take on it. I've always said the best person to sell is the creator, the originator, the owner. You know, right. Now you come to a place in your company where you might outgrow yourself, and then you need to bring others on to kind of support those efforts. But if you can't sell your own product, how in the world would you expect somebody else to believe in it as much as you, when this is your baby? So
right. But I think here's another mistake we all make. We think that people are supposed to be born with the gift. Okay. I mean, when I first started selling, I had to be a 3% closing ratio. I was terrible. Now I'm in the 90th percentile. What got better? Well, sales is an accumulation of strategy, skills, and messaging. It's process driven. So you have the owner of the company who's never been formally trained. Maybe 35 years ago, he sat in a Dale Carnegie class, okay, which was great. But doctors go to remediation. Doctors go to continuing ed. But a salesperson is kind of funny. They got trained 20 years ago, and they think it stick.
Right.
So an owner gets in, and he may be great at his craft, his business, but he's never formally learned how to sell. Therefore, he struggles, and then he starts wondering, are we going to make it? So then he goes out and he asks you to go find salespeople, but a lot of these people don't want to pay. They want to pay straight commission, and great salespeople are not going to work for straight commission unless they're selling a product with tremendous margin.
Right. Yeah, I have often gotten into combative conversations with small business owners that have that pipe dream of somebody working for nothing and then being good at it and passionate about it and everything else. And I said, why would they? If they were the salesperson that you think that they are, that you want them to be,
Right.
they could go anywhere else and have a very healthy salary, an amazing comp plan, and a good a good living for themselves. So what's the end for them to take the risk on you? Because what really baffles me is then after that, they have no sales pitch for their sales pitch. Like what is it that you're bringing that the salesperson should do?
Right.
So I have always kind of joked that salespeople are the hardest to hire.
They are.
They are charismatic. They can sell you on themselves. And so, Joe Pici, I must ask, when you're hiring salespeople, because I know you must be involved in this process when you're consulting with your companies, what are the questions that you're asking that are your tried and true? Let me see the master behind the curtain. Is this full of pompous and show, or is this person genuinely understands that sales is not only a charismatic event, but truly a systematic process that has to be followed and whatnot?
Well, I'm dealing with this right now. I got 2 monster clients in the Midwest, and so I think the mistake people make with salespeople is they sell the job. They don't qualify the job. They want the salesperson so bad, they'll take anybody. So what the clients I work with, and I do not help them go out and find talent.
Mhm.
But what I do is I help them create a job description. So in other words, what exactly is this salesperson mandated, and what do they need to do? And that needs to be, so you hire to fill that. You don't hire talent and hope they can do that. Okay. And I'll tell you, 95% of the clients, and once again, I go from solopreneur right up to mega companies, they always get it backwards. They hire that person that, just got out of college and has a finance degree, and they would be a great financial planner. Well, financial planning is selling,
Right.
And so I think the first thing I recommend, and I work with my clients on, is let's create the non-negotiables of what they need to do daily, weekly, monthly. Be very politely direct with them and ask them this question: are you willing and able to do this?
Yeah.
And are you aware you're going to be held accountable for this?
Mhm. Mhm.
Right? That changes the interview drastically. And so hiring salespeople is really tough because, and I know you know this better than me because this is your world. You get people who've been in retail and they think they can sell.
That's order taking.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
the hardest skill set when it comes to sales are people that have to generate leads, take it outbound, book the appointment, do a consultative sales meeting, do the follow-up. 92% of salespeople don't follow up. They have to be able to write a proposal. There's a lot of things they have to be able to do. And that's why outside sales pays very well if you're good.
Okay. So I heard you say something, and this is one thing that I've often seen done poorly for job descriptions. They talk more about the problems that they need solved rather than the tasks that are performed to solve the problem. So for example, on
That's
a
strong.
sales resume,
That is so well said.
it'll talk about, generate new contacts and leads in the community. That's what they want. That's the problem that they want solved, the funnel full. But what does that mean? Does that mean replying to leads that are created on the internet or knocking door to door? Those are 2 different individuals that you're going to be going after.
2 different skill sets. Okay. And And that's why you're exactly right. When I sit with people, okay, I have a non-negotiable list of what it's going to take to be successful in this. Okay. And it's very clear. I work a lot in the rent-to-own franchise industry. That's one of our huge verticals right now. I work with Aaron's, I work with Rent-A-Center, I work with R&R Tech. I just work a lot with them on sales and collections. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Now, collections, 90% of people who get into collections don't last 2 years. And they beat up your client. So I came up with a whole system called consultative collections, which is all mastering in scripting and what you say and doesn't beat anybody up. And so just by doing this, we now retain more collectors, we retain more clients. So first you have to know the job description, but then, you know, you know me, I'm very direct. That's why you and I get along. You just, you know, you're just pretty and have a great smile, but you're direct too. All right. So yesterday I told one of my clients, you got two choices with your sales team, fix them or fire them.
Preach.
All right. You know, it's like either train them and equip them or let them go, but you can't live with what you have. One other thing about sales, of all you business owners, of everything in your business, the easiest thing to quantify, metric, and evaluate is sales.
Absolutely. You should know whether they're succeeding instantly and every day.
Every day.
Yeah. I love that fix them and fire them, because I don't know who said it, but I remember hearing something one time that says, well, what if I spend all this money on training and they just leave? And it's like, well, what if you don't spend this money on training and they stay?
That's even worse. Yeah. Yeah. Zig Ziglar said
their
that.
Wasted salary on non-performance is going to cost way more than the training program that you're looking at you know, purchasing to improve things around here.
And that's why when Dawn and I opened up Pici and Pici, okay, a million years ago, I mean, we've been doing this a long time. And I said, Dawn, what don't salespeople want to learn? And what don't sales trainers want to train? Right. And the hardest thing for people that have to go out and get business, we realized, was the telephone. That most sales trainers were going to really do role play. And I'm not really into role play. I'm into real play. So we took that to market. And what we learned about that was we could deliver same-day results. But the other thing was they had mastered their greatest fear and their weakest skill that time. Now, and here's something else. You talk about hiring salespeople. I recommend people hire people with self-discipline and ambition and train them for everything else.
Okay. So do you think you can create a salesperson with no sales experience?
If they want to, they have to want to sell. I could teach a rat to sell if the rat wants to sell, but I cannot teach somebody who doesn't have the want to.
Right.
You know, sales is the highest paying profession if you know what you're doing. And it's the worst paying profession if you don't. But here's something else, and this is going to be a direct comment. I always say to the people I'm working with, I said to one of my coaching clients yesterday, CEO of a major corporation, I said, you have to ask yourself this question. So what if they don't?
Right.
And he looked at me. Anytime somebody says, what does that mean? They know what it means, but they don't want to address it. What if they don't make their calls? What if they don't do the amount of meetings? What if they don't generate the leads? How long is the leash? Because in sales, I believe you hire slow, you train them, and you fire fast.
Yeah.
Now, if sales is building a business is in direct results to doing the process, not the other way around. Sales is predictable. In fact, can you see that whiteboard behind me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, those are proposals. So I measure everything. You know, I don't have a boss. I run my own business, and I do all our training now, but I also do all our selling. So what I measure and what I believe needs to be measured, you business owners, if you want your sales team to perform, here's what you measure. How many leads and how many ways do we generate prospect leads? Okay. Now, you can only do that if you know what your target market is. So once you have your target, how many ways are we generating leads, and which are the top 3 generating leads? Number 2, how many outbound calls are we making every day to book appointments? Number 3, how many of those things convert into real meetings?
Right.
How many of those meetings then convert into proposals? So on that board over there are formal proposals. I don't just say, let me send you a proposal. I say, do you want a formal proposal? That changes the closing ratio immediately.
Yeah.
So since January 1, I have 271 formal proposals out. Now, I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying sales is volume.
Yes.
I've closed 90 contracts. Okay. You're going, oh my gosh, wait. When you hire salespeople to sell, that's their job. Not, hey, sell between 9 and 10, and then can you go in the back and sweep up the shop? Wait, their job is to sell. They need to sell.
Right. Right. One
Is this too strong?
one question that I often get from salespeople are, well, where are my leads coming from?
Yeah, they always say that.
That's and that to me always says, if you need to know where your leads are coming from, you're not what I would call like a diehard salesperson. You need to be served up on a silver platter in introduction. And that's a very different beast. So what is your thoughts? And I understand the reason why, because salespeople are also often, high visionaries. They like movement in their day. They can't sit at a desk very long. What is your idea on the concept of a sales support person that generates that, and then more of the appointment closer type thing? Do you like to have your salespeople all in one pretty package that can flow?
It depends on the business model. Okay. It really depends on the business model. First of all, during the interview, what needs to be established is who's generating the leads.
Yes.
Does the salesperson generate the leads? Does marketing do inbound marketing to generate leads? That's one of the first questions I ask a prospective client. Where are the leads coming from?
Every time.
All right.
Every time.
Now,
that's usually where the disconnect is, because the business owner is usually thinking the salesperson is going to get the leads, and the salesperson is thinking the business owner, so they're on 2 different continents and they never have the conversation. And I wonder, well, this is why you've never succeeded in hiring. You don't even know who's going to solve, honestly, the real problem at the top of the funnel.
But see, and you're an interview specialist. So back to your interview question, that's one of the first things that needs to be addressed. Bob, you generate your own leads. Bob, we have a marketing department that will deliver X amount of leads every day, right? So let me talk to the entrepreneur for a second. For the people who don't have the bandwidth to have a closer, an opener, this. We're talking about, you got to play the whole game. Well, a certain amount of your day is lead generation. Okay. So for us, we have 20 ways we generate leads. During COVID, the first year of COVID, we grew 22%, where a lot of our competitors either got out of business or went fishing. Okay. The second year of COVID, we grew 38%. And this year, we have a chance of doubling to tripling our business. Now, a lot of that has to do with that we narrowed how many ways we generated leads, to 3. And focused mostly on that, because that was getting the most highly qualified leads. But that goes back to a question you asked in the beginning. You better know your business. You better know who your target market is, and you better know where they go.
Yes.
All right. So in that interview or in the beginning, who gets the leads? Now, if a salesperson is required to get their own leads, they need to make more money.
Mhm.
All right. It's another skill set, but they have to be taught lead generation.
Mm.
I mean, my wife taught me how to use LinkedIn, and I don't put those long convoluted notes, but LinkedIn is a cash cow for us. I mean, we're generating 90% of our business. Our highest paying clients are coming from LinkedIn. All right. And I don't spend hours on LinkedIn. I don't have time. So,
Right.
so the whole lead generation is, who do I want to sell to, and where do they go, and where can I find them?
Right. Yeah. That's your swimming hole right there.
But this is what you hear all the time. Oh, marketing's dropping the ball. I can't get any quality leads.
Yeah.
I went into a major company here in town, and they were at each other's throats. And so I said to the owner, do I have your permission to challenge your salespeople? Well, yeah. I said, what are you going to do? Sit there and wait for the leads? What if you don't get any? A big part of your income is coming from commission.
Mhm.
You need to learn how to mine your own leads too. So there
Right.
is no downtime.
Mm.
Many years ago, after the third year, Dawn and I were doing this, and we were blessed. I mean, we came out of the gate, and because we could sell, we made really good money. And we hired this coach and paid him $15,000 for one day in Dallas. And we had never done that, and here we go. We fly in there, and we're in this famous studio. He coached people like Dennis Waitley, Zig Ziglar. There's all these famous pictures. And he looks at Dawn and I, and he goes, look, I've seen you, Joe, I've seen you train. I've seen you speak, Dawn. Joe, I don't know anybody that can pick up the phone, book appointments. And he's not patronizing. I said, look, I didn't pay you 15 grand for you to tell me what I'm doing well.
Right. Tell me what I'm doing wrong.
He said, because you can sell, because you can deliver. In other words, you got a great product and you know how to sell. The rest of your life, now listen to me, business owners, once you can sell, once you have a sales thing, once you have a great product, the rest of your life is lead generation and brand expansion. And you know what? He was right.
I love that. I love that. I think that's why we have had the success that we have had here at Simply the Best. When I made my transition over to this, when I was in staffing, I was knocking on doors every day, and I did good. I made $1. I fed my family,
Yeah.
and I grew every year over a year. I have not once I've had so many leads come in that I don't have to do outbound sales, because I've kept my funnel full and my marketing strong and my brand awareness high. And it makes the phone ring. And isn't that just a lovely thing when you're not having to go out and hound and ask and do all of that, where your marketing and your brand awareness is so finitely lasered that the people that call you are calling to see if they can do business with you and when you're available, not to get, just a conversation.
Yeah.
Now,
And
we've had modest, this will only, and I recognize this will only last while we're this big. Once we get up to the next level, we will have to do those outbound calls. We'll have to do those things, because we have a little funnel right now. And that little funnel is feeding me and our 3 employees and our handful of contractors beautifully. But
sure.
To level up, you have to go do things that are uncomfortable, that you've never done before. I'll have to make investments that I've never made before to get there. And I'm so glad that places like Pici and Pici exist, that don't just do fantasy training and hope you got it. Good luck. Call me in a week and let me know how it is. It's like, no, you right there in your class, butts in seats, you will leave, 1, with either closed deals, or 2, knowing absolutely for sure this is not for you. And isn't that beautiful?
Well, there's a couple reasons why, I still to this day make 150 outbound calls a week, for a couple reasons.
Wow, 150, Joe.
and I do all the training. Okay. I mean, when we're done with this podcast, all right, then this morning I'll make 50 phone calls.
Mhm.
And then this afternoon, I'm working with clients. And there's a couple reasons why I do it. Number one, where we want to go is based not on what we do, but who we do it for. Okay.
Interesting. Not what you do, it's who you do it for.
Exactly. And so we're always, I do work with small companies, but I'm always also working to get, because now we're going head to head with the celebrities and the biggest training companies in the world. And
Right.
so they're not calling Pici and Pici, they're
Right.
calling them.
Right.
But I'm beating them sometimes because of my outbound approach.
Mhm.
That's one reason. Another reason is I don't believe in my industry, you're in the consulting part of your world.
Right.
99% of the consultants don't do what they train. And I don't like to use the word fraud, but it's somewhat theoretical.
Right.
I will never stop selling as long as I'm training sales.
Mm.
So I have to do what I'm training.
Amen.
You know, another vertical we have, as you know, is we work with people who want to make money in the speaking, training, coaching, consulting. So here are these corporate people, or here are these people that have always wanted to speak and they love it. And then they get this idea, I wonder if I could make money with that. Or they're speakers, trainers, and coaches that when the economy was good, were making really good money, and then the phone stopped or their referral sources stopped. So we work with them on all the business side of speaking, training, coaching. So when I'm talking to somebody like that, I ask them this question: do you want to make money speaking, training, coaching, consulting? Well, no, then I'm not for you. Because we specialize in helping speakers, coaches, trainers, and consultants monetize their intellectual property and talent. Just with that statement, I have literally told people, I'm for you, I'm not for you.
Right. Shoo them away. If they're not a match, you don't have to take everybody's money, because what ends up happening is they end up being an unhappy customer at the end if you sell them something that they didn't really need. And I think I see that sometimes people come to me because they want to do business with me. And so I've had to make this transition of Dawn, the individual, to Simply the Best, the consulting
Right.
firm. And then tell people, I know you want to, and I know, but that's not our model. You need a staffing company. I'm not here to just feed you resumes every day. I'm here to train you on how to hire well, so you can feed yourself for the rest of your life, as a business owner.
Right. And the more defined you get on what you do, who you do it for, and what you deliver, I haven't had a no-show, cancellation, or a bad meeting in 15 years.
Amen.
Okay. And that's what I work with teaching my clients. You got X amount of hours a day. You don't have time to deal with tire kickers. See, everybody says, Joe, you're great at sales. I'm really not. I'm great at finding buyers. Okay. I just worked with a brand new client here in Longwood, and my outbound call. And so when we started going to proposal, the guy goes, Joe, let me ask you a question. What do you know about our company? I went, nothing. He said, nothing. I said, no. You said you wanted to know how I could help you generate leads, book more appointments, and close more business. I know how to do that.
Right.
He said, but I said, now when I have a deposit and a contract, I will learn about your company.
Right.
And he started laughing. And I said, look, I got close.
Why would I invest in you if you haven't invested in me?
Right. I said, this year, my goal is to get 400 formal proposals out. If I had to research every single one before there was a commitment, I would get 5 out.
Right.
So,
Right.
And I'm not trying to make anybody sound like a machine.
Mhm.
It's really, here's what you have to decide as a business owner. How much money do I want to make? How much revenue? Then what is the margin? So how much money do I get to keep? Because it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you get to take the kids on vacation, put gas in the car. It's how much do you keep? Now, based on how much money you want to make and when you want to make it and why do you want to make it dictates how hard you work.
Right. And it's okay not to work that hard. I think
That's
a lot
right.
of entrepreneurs want to wear this badge of 12 hours a day, 65 days, 65 hours a week. I'm grinding it out. It's like, or you could find some balance. You don't have to be bigger.
No, you don't have to. Please don't be me. All right. You understand? I'm a whack
I know
job.
you.
No, but
you
listen,
are.
I want to tell you something. I love what I do, and
Right.
I don't play golf and I don't have hobbies. So when I'm doing what I do, it's not like I'll grind.
Right.
Okay, I got a coaching client. Okay. And he had a big marketing company and he sold it. And then, we helped him do professional small business and individual branding. He and his wife and 4 kids sold everything, got in a van, and started traveling the country doing Airbnbs. We built his business to become 100% virtual. He knew how much money he wanted to make. He wanted to make $250,000 a year. We built the company out, right? He works a few hours in the morning, and they now live in Sedona. And he sends pictures out of him getting the sun, and they're in Italy right now. His world is about balance.
Right.
That's who he is. So
if he wanted to work full time, he could make $500,000, but that wasn't the goal. Right?
And whether he makes $250,000 every year or not, he knows what he needs every month. He hits that mark. He's happy. His kids are happy. His wife is happy, and so everybody has to. But the hardest part of a business is that bootstrapping time in the beginning.
Yeah.
Then you do need to put more time in because you have to create a momentum. And the other thing is, we're living in an economy that things can change so quickly that if you're not attentive to your business, you could lose it. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I mean, I think I could stay on here and pick your brain absolutely all day long, but we do have.
Can I give away a gift to your audience?
Absolutely, please.
Free gift. I promise you will not be.
No one's ever done this before. This is exciting.
Right. This is a gift. Okay.
Okay.
Take out your phone.
Okay.
Everybody take out your phone, and you're going to go into the text message. And you're going to put the word sales edge. It has to be one word. SALESEDGE. If it's split, some phones put quotes around it. And then you're going to text that to 55678. That's going to take you to the Pici and Pici link, which will take you to a splash page. Right now, there is a free masterclass on the non-negotiables of sales and business development. All you have to do is put your email in there. You will not be, look, I don't sell, I find people that want to buy. So therefore, you will not be inundated with marketing. But that course is the non-essentials of sales. You can watch it. You can have your team watch it. You won't be billed, but that's a gift to you because we love Dawn here at Pici and Pici.
Oh, thank you so much. So if you were to tell young Joe one piece of advice, starting off in your profession 30 years ago when you and Dawn were just launching Pici and Pici, what advice would you give the younger Joe?
I will tell you, if I could go back to the very beginning of Pici and Pici, we knew how to sell, we knew how to deliver. I would have learned more about business itself.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. Now we've learned business, but I would have gotten some formal education. I never knew in the beginning we were going to own 4 businesses. You understand? I didn't know that. All I knew was we needed to make a living.
Right. Feed my family. Goal 1.
So I would have invested some time and money into some fundamental business courses, account, just things you have to know. And now companies and CEOs hire me to come in, sit at their board tables and teach them how to run their business,
Right. And they got 3 master's degrees.
And they've got an MBA and they got this and that. But we've learned because we have been with thousands of companies. Okay. So,
it's
but
innate now.
that would be the advice. I think that would be the advice.
I think that's great advice, because too many small business owners stop investing in their own intellect and their own wisdom and their own, selves once they have the business, because they're too busy being in the business and not on the business. And
Absolutely.
so reading is just, I can't push. If more of the world read and read
Yep.
well and read to learn and improve themselves, not only spiritually, but emotionally, and do the hard work of healing some things. If you don't think that who you are doesn't influence your business, you're sadly mistaken. So I love investing in yourself, learning about business generally speaking, and not just being an expert maybe in your particular field. That's great advice.
So
Thank you so much, Joe, for coming on.
thank you so
today.
much. And we're going to have you on our show. And
Absolutely.
we have a huge following. Anybody who wants to tune into the Sales Edge, it comes out every Tuesday and every Thursday. We have
Good
a guest
stuff.
on Tuesday. It's just me on Thursday. And I think we're up to 348. So
That's great. Awesome. Thank you so much, Joe. I'll see you again
thanks.
soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks again for spending time with us today. If you want more HR stories and resources, go to simplythebest.com to join our newsletter. That's SIPLEY. Until next time, stay happy.